Good morning. Welcome to Weekday Wisdom. It's a beautiful Monday morning out, and today is my birthday, and I'm feeling very, very old this year. I don't highlight my birthday in order to get any kind of recognition or anything, but I do share my birthday with some pretty famous or interesting events in history. It was 51 years ago today, if my math is right, that Neil Armstrong made that one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind as he took the first human steps on the moon. 76 years ago today, there was an assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler. Injured him and 12 of his military leaders. 1951 on this date, and some of you history buffs would recognize this date as the date that Jordan's King Abdullah was assassinated in Jerusalem. But it was July 20th, 1896 that I'm actually focusing on today to begin our devotion. What happened on that day? Well, Eunice Sanborn was born. Don't recognize that name? You've probably never heard of her. But on the 6th of April 2010, Eunice became the oldest validated living person in the United States at 114 years old. Can you imagine living that long? Be an encouragement, I guess, that I'm not even halfway through my life yet. But that same year, at her birthday party at her church, which is First Baptist Church in Jacksonville, Texas, Eunice, at 114 years old, when asked about her life, said that she loves everything about her life, and listen to this, and had no complaints. Can you imagine looking back on 114 years of life and saying that you had no complaints? I can barely go 114 minutes without complaining about something. Just a few moments ago, I was complaining in my mind that my coffee wasn't hot enough. Well, I didn't know Eunice, so I'm not positive. I can't tell you exactly what her secret was. But I do know that there's a Bible verse that speaks to an attitude of the Christian life that, if observed, would benefit us greatly, and perhaps at the end of our lives we would have that same attitude. Because I imagine that over 114 years, there were some things and probably some moments and times when Eunice complained or grumbled. Certainly there were things in her life that she could have complained about. But I have to believe that she had an attitude that kept her from complaining. And that attitude, I believe, is found in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse number 6. And it says, "But godliness with contentment is great gain." Now, in context, Paul makes this statement immediately after revealing that there were teachers who had been declaring that gain was in fact godliness, rather than godliness with contentment being the great gain of life. And although none of us would hold, I'm sure, to that theology or a doctrine that says that gaining material wealth or other substance here in life would be truly what is gain or even what is godliness, I think oftentimes we live out our lives that way. And so this morning, I just want to give you a very simple challenge, that we would let this simple truth from the Word of God challenge us and encourage us today, that we would seek to have an attitude, a mindset of contentment. Not only with the material possessions that God has given you. I think really that's probably just a small part of an attitude of contentment. But that we would be content with our relationships, with our station in life, with our church, with our family. You know, contentedness truly is a gateway to gratitude. If we're not content with everything that God has given to us, we'll never be grateful to God for what he has given to us. Someone once said, all truly godly people are content. Contentedness comes when we find our wealth, our gain, in godly living, and when our greatest possession of all is the possession of our relationship with our Creator God through the person and the finished work of Jesus Christ. You may not live to 114. I probably doubt that I'll live to 114. But however long you do live, you can choose to live a life in which you have no complaints, a life of contentedness. I pray that'll be a blessing as well as a challenge for us today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless.